By the time the speech was over, her need to draw was gone. After Mr. Zaitz was finished, Joyce said a few words about how she wanted them to do their best in the next year. "I'll be living at the Institute with you," she added. "My room is back there." She pointed to a set of French doors beyond the living room that looked as if they led outside. "And you can feel free to come to me at any time, day or night. Oh, and here's someone else you'll be working with." Caitlin turned and saw a girl coming through the dining room. She looked college age, and had tumbled mahogany hair and full lips which looked a bit sullen. "This is Marisol Diaz, an undergrad from Stanford," Joyce said. "She won't live here, but she'll come daily and help with your testing. She'll also help me cook. You'll find a schedule of meals on the dining room wall, and we'll go over the other house rules tomorrow. Any questions?" Heads were shaken. "Good. Now why don't you go upstairs and fix up your rooms? It's been a long day and I know some of you must be tired from jet lag. Marisol and I will throw together something for dinner." Caitlin was tired. Although her watch said 5:45, it was 3 hours later by a higher time. Mr. Zet said goodbye to each of them, and stood and shook their hands. Then Kate and the others headed upstairs. "What did you think of him?" she whispered to Lewis and Anna as they reached the second floor. "Impressive, but a little scary. I kept expecting him to introduce Masterpiece Theatre," Lewis whispered back. "Those dogs were interesting," Anna said. "Usually I can sort of read animals, tell if they're happy or sad or whatever, but those two are very guarded. I wouldn't want to try to influence them." Something made Kate glance behind her, and she found that Gabriel was looking at her. She felt disconcerted, so she immediately went on the attack. "And what did you think?" she asked him. "I think he wants to use us for his own reasons." "Use us how?" Caitlin said sharply. Gabriel shrugged, looking bored. "How should I know? Maybe to improve his corporation's image. Silicon Valley Company benefits humankind. Like Chevron financing wildlife programs. Of course, he was right about one thing. We are superior to the rest of the human race." "And some of us are more superior than others, right?" Rob asked from the stairs. "Some of us don't have to follow the rules. Or the laws." "Exactly," Gabriel said with a rather chilling smile. He was walking around the hallway, glancing into each bedroom. "Well, Joyce told us to pick our rooms. I think I'll take this one." "Hey," Lewis squawked. "That's the biggest room. The one with the cable hookup and the jacuzzi and everything." Gabriel said blandly, "Thanks for telling me." "It's much bigger than any of the others," Anna said with quiet heat. "We decided it should go to whoever rooms together." You can't just grab it for yourself," Lewis finished. "We ought to vote." Gabriel's grey eyes narrowed, and his lip lifted in something like a snarl. With one step he was close to Lewis. "You know what a lock-up cell looks like?" he said, his voice cold and brutal. "It has a 2-foot wide bed and a metal toilet. One metal stool attached to the wall and one built-in desk. That's all. I've been in a cell like that on and off for 2 years, so now I figure I'm entitled. Are you going to do something about it?" Lewis scratched his nose, looking as if he were considering it. Anna pulled him back a step. "MTV isn't worth it," she told him. Gabriel looked at Rob. "You, country boy?" "I won't fight you if that's what you mean," Rob drawled. He looked half disgusted, half pitying. "Go ahead, take the room, you sad bastard." Lewis made a faint sound of protest. Gabriel stepped inside his newly acquired room and began to shut the door. "By the way," he said, turning, "everyone else had better keep out of here. After you spend so much time in lockup, you get to like your space. You get kind of territorial. I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt." As the door closed, Kate said, "Gabriel, like the angel?" She could hear the heavy sarcasm in her own voice. The door opened again, and Gabriel gave her a long, measuring look. Then he flashed a brilliant, unsettling smile. "You can come in any time you like," he said. This time after the door slammed, it stayed shut. "Well," Caitlin said. "Geez," Lewis said. Anna was shaking her head. "Gabriel Wolfe, He's not like a wolf, really, because they're very social, except for a lone wolf, an exile, one that's been driven out of the pack. If wolves get driven out far enough, they go a little crazy, start attacking anything that comes near them. I wonder what his talent is, Caitlin mused. She looked at Rob. He shook his head. I don't really know. I met him back in North Carolina, at a place in Durham, another psychic research center. Another one? Lewis said, looking surprised. Yeah. My parents took me to see if they could make any sense of the weird stuff I was doing. I guess his parents did the same thing. He wasn't interested in working with the staff, though. He just wanted his own way, and the hell with other people. A girl ended up getting hurt. Kate looked at him. She wanted to ask her how, but from the closed-off expression on his face, she didn't think she'd get an answer. Anyway, that was over 3 years ago, Rob said. He ran away from the centre right after it happened, and I heard he just went from state to state, getting in a heap of trouble everywhere, making a heap of trouble everywhere. Oh, terrific, Lewis said. We've got to live with this guy for a year? Anna was looking at Rob closely. What about you? Did that centre help you? Sure did. They helped me figure out just what it was I was doing. And just what is it that you do? Caitlin said, staring significantly from him to her leg. Healing, I guess, the blonde boy said simply. Some places call it therapeutic touch. Some places call it channeling energy. I try to use it to help. Looking into his steady golden eyes, Caitlin felt oddly ashamed. I'm sure you do, she said, which was as close as she could come to saying thank you. Somehow she didn't want the others to know what had happened between her and Rob earlier. She felt strangely confused by him, and by her reaction to him. I'm sure we all do, Rob said again, simply. His smile was slow but infectious, irresistible, in fact. Well, we try, Emma said. Kate glanced at Lewis, who'd just widened his eyes without saying anything. She had the feeling that, like her, he hadn't worked too hard at helping people with his powers. Look, Lewis said, clearing his throat, I don't want to change the subject, but can I pick my room next? Because I'd like, that one. Rob glanced into the room Lewis had indicated, then stepped down the hall and looked into 2 other doors. He turned and gave Lewis an, oh come on, look. Lewis wilted. But this is the only one left with cable, and I need my MTV, and my computer, and my stereo, and there's only one fair thing to do, Rob said. We should make that room a communal place. That way everybody can watch TV. There isn't one downstairs. But then what do we do? Lewis demanded. We'll double up in the small rooms, Rob said briefly. Caitlin and Anna glanced at each other and smiled. Caitlin didn't mind rooming with Anna. She was actually glad. It would be almost like having a sister. Lewis groaned. But what about my stereo and stuff? They won't even fit in one of those small rooms, especially if there's 2 beds in there. Good, Rob said relentlessly. Put them in the common room. We can all listen to them. Come on, we'd better start moving furniture. The first thing Gabriel did was scan the room, prowling around it with silent, wary steps. He looked in every corner, including the bathroom and closet. It was big and luxurious, and the balcony offered a quick escape route, if it turned out that escape was necessary. He liked it. He flopped on the king-size bed and considered whether he liked anything else about this place. There was the girl, of course, the one with the witch eyes and the hair like flame. She might be an interesting diversion, but something inside him twisted uncomfortably. He found himself on his feet and pacing again. He'd have to make sure it was just a diversion. That kind of girl might be too interesting, might tempt you to get involved, and that could never happen again. Never, because... Gabriel wrenched his thoughts away. Aside from the girl, there wasn't much to like here, and several things to hate. Kessler. The restrictions on his freedom, being under house arrest. Kessler. The stupidity of the whole study these people had planned.